Greetings, thank you for lending an ear to the Voice of the Times for Wednesday, September 15, 2021. For today's editorial, not a helpful investigation. The ongoing Senate investigation into the 8.6 billion pesos procurement of personal protective equipment or PPE by the small and hitherto unknown firm Pharmaly Pharmaceutical Corporation has, just as similar investigations have in the past, accomplished only one sure result. All it has done so far is to confirm that the phrase investigation in aid of legislation is a euphemism and that the exercise is highly unlikely to have any real consequences, even if there should be some. What is known with any certainty so far is that Pharmaly, a newly formed company with just 625,000 pesos in paid-up capital, was given the large government contract through the procurement service of the Department of Budget and Management or PSDBM to supply face masks, face shields, and other PPE items. The company did deliver the supplies as per the contract, a fact that has been repeatedly highlighted by Palace spokesman Harry Roque Jr., as though that should resolve any questions, but at prices much higher than the prevailing market prices for the same or comparable supplies available from elsewhere at the time. Furthermore, it has emerged that the Pharmaly was only able to fulfill the contract after obtaining a loan from former presidential economic advisor Michael Yang, although at the time he apparently no longer had any role, official or otherwise, in the administration. The dubious contract was revealed to the public by the recent release of the Commission on Audit or COA reports for 2020, in which, among other things, more than 67 billion pesos in irregularities in various Department of Health related spending were flagged by the agency for further inquiry and possible corrective action. The Senate Blue Ribbon Committee, led by Senator Richard Gordon, promptly launched an investigation in aid of legislation, which has been just as much a performance of political theater, with both the Senate and Malacanang playing their opposing roles to the help as any other similar high-profile inquiry in living memory. It is frustrating because, once again, an issue in which there is clearly something very wrong is being buried by political bluster rather than being resolved. We have made these recommendations before and will probably have to make them again, but they are no less valid for having to be endlessly repeated. If an issue is encountered, such as through a COA audit in which there is a probable cause for investigation into possible wrongdoing, that investigation should be carried out by an appropriate, dispassionate agency, in this case, the Office of the Ombudsman for the government agencies and officials who may be involved in the National Bureau of Investigation for private parties, using a special prosecutor, something which is commonly done in other countries, could be very helpful. This person could be appointed by the President, Congress, or perhaps, to better maintain objectivity, the Supreme Court. Congress should of course have the authority to conduct investigations in aid of legislation, but it has been clear to all for some time that the authority is given an unjustifiably broad definition and at times is abused outright. Matters that may result in criminal or administrative proceedings, as the current procurement scandal might, should be off limits to legislative investigation to prevent compromising the proper legal investigations. Likewise, if senators or congressmen are certain enough that an investigation will result in new legislation to justify calling blue ribbon hearings in the first place, then the objective must be clearly defined at the outset. In the current scandal, for example, that should be to determine whether the changes in procurement laws and rules need to be made by Congress. That last problem is the one reliable takeaway from the current scandal. Whatever other misdeeds or may not have been committed, there must be much greater rigor and transparency in government procurement, even when emergency procedures are authorized by law, as was the case with the Pharmaly contract. Emergency procurement should only allow an accelerated process to obtain materials and services needed by the government. It must not allow a suspension of prudent standards. If a potential supplier would not qualify under non-emergency circumstances, which formally would not according to the government's published rules, then it should not qualify for emergency procurement. And that's the editorial for Wednesday, September 15, 2021. For more news and information, get a copy of the Manila Times on print, subscribe to its digital edition, or log on to www.manilatimes.net. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram and listen to the Voice of the Times.